Fortnite Chapter 1 Season 2 dropped December 14th, 2017, over 7 years ago. Unfortunately, I missed out on it. As a new player that started in Chapter 6, I played Fortnite OG Season 1, link in the upper right hand corner, and had a blast, but everyone told me that Season 2 is when peak Fortnite truly began. I've decided to jump in to see what I missed and what all the hype is about. To make things more interesting, I won't stop playing until I get a victory royale. So without further ado, let's go ahead and travel back to Chapter 1, Season 2 with Fortnite OG. But first, this video is sponsored by me and Epic Games. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we finally got accepted into the Epic Partner Program. To help support the channel at no extra cost to you, make sure to use the creator code HAUNTEDOUSE in checkout. Thank you so much, and take it to the chorus. Use the creator code I appreciate the support. First things first, we have to start off the new season right. A new season calls for new swag, so I equipped the Sparkle Diva skin. Look good, feel good, play good. That's how it works, right? Maybe not, but as a newer player, I need all the confidence boosting I can get. Time to queue up for my first game of OG Season 2. Alright, you guys already know what it is. You wanted it, you got it. We're hot dropping Tilted Towers, because that is the true Season 2 experience, apparently. You've gotta love how many people are doing the exact same thing. I'm feeling a little rusty from some time off from the game due to a trip with my family, but I'm sure that won't be a problem. We land contested and attempt to take some loot from a chest. Using information I've learned from playing the game thus far, I break the item that the chest is sitting on so it will bust open faster, or it'll just keep floating there. That works too, I guess. Luckily, I find a revolver that Sushi Man left behind, but Midas takes me down with a faster firing pistol. 99th place. Ouch. Okay, great start. Maybe I am more rusty than I previously thought. That's okay though. We go again. Eager to make up for my previous attempt, I drop Tilted again for Game 2. Testing what happened with the chest last game, I take out the chair holding this one to confirm that yes, indeed, the chests do appear to have anti-gravity properties in Tilted Towers. I get some decent starting loot off drop and chug a shield potion I find, because it is clear I'm going to need any and all advantages I can get if I'm gonna survive. I drop down into the building and eventually hear another player. I manage to get a tag on them before they dip behind this wall, and I use my advanced parkour skills to attempt to give chase. Unfortunately, I have blinders on trying to score my first kill of Season 2, and I get clapped by an aerial assault bomber with a pump. Okay, well, 79th place this time. We're making progress.
Are you sure about that?
Game 3, I land on a blue assault rifle and quickly give chase to an enemy that has landed nearby. Okay, so they're clearly a bot, given that whole pickaxing the corner of a hedge thing, but at this point I'll take what I can get. I get a pump to go with my AR and start to look for a fight. I hear some peeps going at it over by the clock tower, so I attempt to third party and clean up the survivor, only to immediately forget everything I've learned from the previous series about positioning and get right peeked while standing out in the open like a complete moron. Oh, and I got grittied on. Wonderful. I guess I am getting the true Fortnite experience. With Game 4, I am determined to wake the hell up and at least survive a little bit longer. I land on an AR and quickly snag up some other loot as well. I climb to the roof and try and survey the area. The footsteps of a nearby enemy catch my attention, and I rain gunfire from on high on this wannabe angel to pick up an elimination. Heading back inside, I find a green tactical shotty, a tasty little shield potion, and a grenade launcher. Some footsteps alert me of an approaching baddie, so I lie in wait like a trapdoor spider, ready to strike. A tag from the shotty, followed by my AR, make quick work of the approaching hooded hoodlum. Note that I accidentally swap my assault rifle for an SMG by mistake, thinking that it's a silenced AR or something in my rush to leave the building. Nice move. With 2 eliminations to my name and the next storm circle nearby, I feel comfortable leaving Tilted Towers behind me and venturing out. Oh, and look at that, the river area I can't stand from last season. Nice. In a nearby field, I see a thing? It kind of looks like a crystal or something. Unsure of what I'm looking at, I decide to go up and investigate, and I am teleported into the sky apparently. Having never seen a rift before, this definitely threw me for a loop, but I managed to use this opportunity to take some height and check out my surroundings. Seeing no obvious signs of other players, I use the zip line to head back down, when suddenly a nearby player catches me off guard. Thankfully, they're a bot, and I'm able to take them down with no issue. I consider heading towards Dusty Depot, but some gunshots to the south draw my attention. I start to make my move as Fortnite transitions into Fort Day, and I manage to find an upgrade for my shotgun in a building nearby. It's at this point that I realize I accidentally grabbed an SMG, replacing my assault rifle. Trying to approach another random player in an open field is not ideal without a long-range option, so I decide to try and find another gun in this house along the way. I manage to score another shield potion to get fully maxed out on my shields, and eventually do find another weapon, a scoped AR. Now, if you saw my previous series, you know that the last time I picked this gun up, it got me killed. I am not a huge fan of it, but at this time, it seemed like my only option. I also grab a bottle of slurp juice, although I have no idea what that is at this point or how it works. I leave the house and use the scoped AR to try and get some shots off on Goku while he's standing on top of these shipping containers. Emphasis on try. I hit a couple of dinks, but nothing too substantial. I make my move to the next piece of cover, hoping to get a good angle, but Goku is also on the move. A few more shots on Goku cements my hatred of this AR, frustrating me and causing me to accidentally swap not to a gun for a follow-up, but instead to the bottle of slurp juice for some reason. Honestly, just embarrassing. I am left with a 23rd place finish, completely baffled as to what just occurred. My brain just completely short-circuited with frustration, and I make a vow to myself to never pick up the scoped AR ever again. Alright, no more playing around. Time to lock in. See, I put the sunglasses down. That's how you know I mean business. Game 5, we drop in with a bunch of people once again, including this player who is riding a Beyblade or something. The cosmetics and gliders in this game are just nutty, man. I managed to drop onto this rooftop and pick up a green AR, using it to bust off some shots at Santa Snoop on a neighboring tower. After dispatching the dog, another player tries to take me out, but my parkour skills once again allow me to dodge bullets like Neo while reaching the other rooftop, where I quickly pick up a green tactical shotty and make my way to cover. I then get a little too excited about pulling off my escape, leap without looking, and take some fall damage, but at least I score some minis for my trouble. I shield up and snag some more equipment before escaping from the Tilted Towers area on foot once again through the Cursed River area. I locate another rift and now, knowing what they do, use it to continue my rotation further into zone. Oh nice, look, an unlooted area. Let me just check what is in this chest and... oh, this bastard. Never again. Continuing on, I spot another player far off. I try to play it cool, keeping my distance and trying to move into a position that will help me hold them off in case they rotate my direction. As I'm keeping my eye on them, some gunshots to the northeast catch my attention, and the nearby rift seems like the perfect opportunity to try and third party. As I parachute in, I see another player has zip-lined up to the high ground. So I decide to take the even higher high ground on them and try to see if I can snag a kill. I use a volley of grenades to try and get their attention, but it doesn't quite work out. Man, I just wish I could get a kill with these grenades just once. I tag some damage on Sushi Man with my AR and he takes cover in this building. Oh, this is my chance. Come on. Man, I love this game sometimes. I enter this weird bunker and find a stairwell leading down to the tunnel that leads to Tomato Town. Inside, I score a damage trap, an item I've never used before. After some awkward wrestling with the menu, I manage to put the trap at the top of the stairs to cover me in case anyone follows my path. Further down, we score a sniper rifle as well as a blue SMG. Hey, this loadout's starting to come together. If only I could find an upgrade for my AR. No, I am not using that thing again. Someone is in a gunfight in Tomato Town, so I try to investigate. Yep, footsteps. I'll try to see if I can bait them out. But as I do, some shots come from behind, catching me off guard. Taking cover behind a nearby car, I realize I am now sandwiched between two enemies. I wait a little bit, then move forward towards the advancing enemy, not wanting to get shot from behind. I am rewarded for my boldness with another elim, and I try to play cautiously to avoid getting shot while looting. After waiting a bit, the other player doesn't approach me, so I decide to pick up my loot, and as I retreat back to cover, I am shot from the side.
Oh no.
The enemy footsteps are close, and I'm not sure if they're trying to flank me from the stairwell area. Thankfully, we set that trap, so hopefully that will slow them down if they do try it. I retreat back a little bit further and chug some refreshing shield potion as I wait for the other player's next move. But after some tactical waiting, no, it's not hiding or camping, okay, it's tactical waiting, I swear. After some tactical waiting, it seems that the enemy got distracted and has wandered off. The storm is now moving, and I know I need to make my move. Tomato Town is probably a hotbed at the moment, especially if the player that shot at me is waiting for me to come back out of the tunnel. So I make the decision to try and quickly sprint wide and rotate around the POI. I see some other players fighting on a nearby hilltop and decide I want to join in on the fun. And we are in a top 10 scenario as I spot another Santa Snoop running along. I try to open with a snipe, but unfortunately I forgot everything I learned last season about leading my shot and miss. Snoop doubles back, I miss again, and I try to advance to meet him in the field so he doesn't have an easy high ground shot on me. But unfortunately I'm no match for his skills or purple AR. Ugh, dude, what a shame. Alright, so I'm a little rusty. No big deal. I took some time to train in creative maps and play casual games in Chapter 6 to try and increase my skills and have some fun. Now you're probably asking, House, did you need to be a cutesy cat girl to do that? No. But did it help? Maybe. So with some more experience under my belt, it's time to lock in and put in some work. And that calls for some new drip. Ta-da! Let's get it. Now I know dropping Tilted is the true way to experience OG Season 2, but there's a lot of stuff on this new map that I haven't checked out yet, so I'm gonna be branching out a bit just to shake things up. Maybe it'll help me improve my chances of survival while we're at it. I drop in towards Lonely Lodge and immediately this lookout tower is calling to me. At the very top, we snag a green SMG and a shield potion, and then returning halfway down we find another chest with a goddamn rocket launcher and some more slurp juice. I decide to chug this slurp just to see what it does, and it appears to give me shields over time. Nice. Some players are popping off in the foliage below me, so I decide to rain on their parade with my newly acquired artillery. And hey, we get a nice little tag. Time to follow it up and we secure our first kill. Nice. The other player takes shots at us, so it's time to descend from our lofty position to meet them as they try to approach us. A quick blast from the launcher chunks down a significant amount of their health, and they try to run, but some patience with my SMG scores me my second kill. We pick up a white AR, and I swap my SMG with a tactical shotty because I feel way more comfortable with that as my secondary weapon. I have to say, my loadout is really starting to look solid. We have max shields and lots of meds in case we get jumped. All I really need to be on the lookout for is an upgrade for my assault rifle, and we'll be... Oh. No. Nope. Get this thing away from me. We search the titular Lonely Lodge itself, and I find some portabunkers. Knowing how useful these things are in Zero Build from my previous games and Chapter 6, I decide they'll be worth bringing along in case of an emergency. Leaving the POI, I spot another rift, and we use it to rotate over to a different area I haven't checked out, Wailing Woods. The hedge maze in the middle immediately catches my eye, but by the time I get there, it's clear that the place has already been picked dry by the other players who dropped here at the beginning. As I rotate back towards the new zone, I take some time not only to keep an eye out for enemies, but also just to take in the ambience of this area. I have to say, I am really enjoying the feel of these POIs and biomes a lot so far, especially compared to the relative sameness of the OG Season 1 map. Like, this forest is so cool, and you don't really see any other POIs like this in other Battle Royale games that I've played, at least. To each their own, but for what it's worth, I think it's dope, and I'm excited to see more of the areas that have been added over time. I move back to the rift that I used previously to rotate towards Retail Row. We spy some people fighting down below, so let's see if we can say hello with Mr. Rocket Launcher. Another solid hit. We followed it up with a few shots from our AR, but it's not quite enough to take the enemy down. There are a lot of gunshots going on in the area at the moment, and I don't want to get pinched by 2 teams of baddies, so I decide to leave Retail Row behind me and move towards the fighting to the southwest. We find the battling baddies, and you just know I have to try and join in on the fun. After doing my best to aim with my white AR, I managed to successfully third party and take down the surviving player. I pass up yet another scoped AR, somehow miss this green AR like a doofus, and pick up a blue upgrade for my TAC. I don't want to stick around for too long, and with more gunshots coming from the west, I move that way to try and see what's up. Just as I'm about to leave, I see another player coming up behind me. I try to greet them with a rocket, and we are now down to just 10 players remaining in this match. Another rocket misses, giving away my position as I try to take down the approaching enemy. We manage to get the kill, but I take more damage than I would have liked to, and in a panic, knowing other players are in the area, I start to chug my full shield pot, even though the enemy dropped minis. Whoops. It's small things like this that make me realize that I still have a lot of work to do to get comfortable with my item usage and the game in general. After some debate, I decide to take the blue burst AR, hoping it will serve me better than my white AR. And I also elect to leave the slurp juice behind, a decision that I'm sure won't come back to bite me in the ass later. We are down to 7 players left as I approach this factory area, and I decide to try and hop up on the roof to scout the area out. I make a misstep, and the sound of a nearby enemy grabs my attention. I jump back up to see Baymax making his way toward me, so I use my shotty to let him know this is my house, and we send him back to the lobby. He drops a blue AR, which I swap for my burst, and once again take the high ground. As I'm looking around, I nearly get sniped from somewhere off in the distance. I don't see where the other player is, and I spend a good amount of time just trying to see where everyone else is as the remaining players in this match slowly dwindle down. We are getting down to the wire, and I'm trying to move more cautiously as I try to spot the enemies before they catch me off guard. I can feel the tension starting to build up once again, and as the storm begins to move in, I see the player that tried to snipe me earlier. I send out a warning rocket his direction, hoping to score some easy damage, but when that doesn't connect, I decide to use this as an opportunity to rotate in front of him in zone and set a trap. I still don't know where the other enemies are, but I cautiously bide my time until the footsteps of the nearby Nitros approach. I wait for the perfect opportunity, then spring my trap, but somehow get the kill with only 3 health remaining. Holy crap, I am terrified of one of the other 2 players jumping me at this point, so I begin to slam my shield potion, hoping not to get caught out. I then remember my bunkers and try to throw one down after my potion ends, only to accidentally swap to my AR, shooting the ground and letting everyone know where I am. Wonderful. I finally get the bunker down to... What? What the hell is this? A bunker for ants? I'm worried that I deleted the medkit the other player dropped down for a moment until I realize it's just under the ramp. I really could have used that slurp juice from earlier because I have no meds left by the end of this. This whole thing is a shit show. I mean, I accidentally dropped my shotgun for a green AR. It's not going well. I realize what I did, go back to pick up my blue tack before trying to compose myself. Alright, House, calm down. You can't let the craziness of everything get to you. The ring is moving in again, and I spot one of the 2 remaining enemies on a nearby hilltop. He's got quite the spring in his step as he tries to scout us out and avoid being sniped at the same time. I sit for a long time and wait for him to make a move as Fort Day turns back into Fortnite. But as the zone is about to collapse again, I realize I am going to have to make a move. I swing wide around my mini bunker, trying to keep an eye on the hilltop player's movement. But the storm is right on my ass, so I have to go. I move up to the next bit of cover, checking my blind side briefly, and I ready my rocket as the hilltop player is about to drop. Unfortunately, nearby footsteps catch me off guard as the storm pushes up on my backside, and the other player gets the first shots off on me. I manage to throw up a full-size bunker to try and buy some time, but the other player moves quickly through the side door to finish off his kill. I have no choice but to try and rotate around the bunker and catch him off guard, but I make a mistake on where he is and get tagged with a shotgun blast. He finishes me off, and we sadly end the match in 3rd place. As frustrating as that was, I have to say I am proud of how far I made it in this game. That was a hell of a battle, and after the sting of missing out on the victory royale wears off, even though I messed up a few times in this match, I have to admit I did a lot better than I would have previously. I'm still growing, but I am enjoying the journey. So the next part of this journey got a little delayed. That's my bad. I took a little break to enjoy the end of Chapter 6, Season 1, and to test out all the new stuff that came into the game with Lawless. I was having a pretty good time breaking into vaults and stealing loot, but before I knew it, OG Season 2 was calling me once again. I dove back into the game, having some close matches, exploring new areas of the map that I had not seen, and, well, I won't lie to you guys, the footage got corrupted. Yeah, so we lost a few games in there. But at the end of the day, nothing too eventful happened. I didn't get a win, so really no loss. I am back today to dive in once again, sporting the bright and bombastic Cuddle Team Specialist skin. I'm a little cuddly boy, I'm not afraid to admit it, and as you know, you can't really be on Cuddle Team if you don't have a team to begin with. I have decided that I want to continue this journey in squads, and I'm doing that for a few different reasons. Number 1, I feel like this is a good way to shake up the series. Number 2, I feel it'll be more entertaining to have other players to make commentary about. And number 3, in every other Battle Royale game I've played, I've had teammates to help out in case things get hairy. Does this make me a big baby, maybe weak or bad at the game? I'm sure some of you may think so, but I guess I might as well just embrace being a baby Cuddle Team boy, you know? Teamwork makes the dream work, right? So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into some games. Okay, so not counting corrupted games that I recorded that are now lost media, this is Game 7. We ping Snobby Shores as our landing area, but before I know it, our Emmy has pinged a random location near Dusty Depot and is jumping out of the battle bus without us. I kind of forgot that people don't always go with the game plan the rest of the team sets up, but you know, I want to be a good teammate, so I hop out, hoping that this isn't a sign of things to come. We land at Dusty Depot, picking up an array of armaments and topping off our shields. Not a bad start. Aside from the fact that my team seems to be scattered all over the map. I even share some shields with Emmy to prove that there's no hard feelings about the whole chaotic drop thing, because we are a team after all. A Cuddle Team. After looting the nearby factory area with Danny Phantom himself, we try to rendezvous with our team when we spot an enemy taking a zip line up to higher ground. I take a shot with my sniper and miss, but instead of taking advantage of the fact that I am in the open and he is on the high ground, the enemy takes the zip line back down into the waiting arms of Danny. Mr. Fenton helps him go ghost, and I count that as an assist, even though it's clear that I'm rusty from my time away from OG. Worried about my ability to snipe without warming up, I elect to take a grenade launcher with me for now. Here's hoping that I don't come to regret that in the near to immediate future. We use a nearby rift to regroup with Emmy on the high ground, and I spot an enemy trudging along. I try to say hello with some grenade spam, but that does little more than distract them while my teammates take them down. I'm really starting to second guess this decision about leaving the sniper rifle behind, but we're here now, we just have to deal with it. Big Dill pings a nearby baddie, and I start to bound off that way to offer my briny brother backup when a barrage of bullets almost blasts my backside. I use a grenade to force them away from the natural cover of the mountain and eliminate them with the help of Danny Phantom. See, this is the kind of teamwork I need. If we all just stick together and have each other's back, there's no way we can lose this game. We use the rift once again to take the high ground once again, and I spend some time trying to set up a campfire I picked up off the ground, but I am not able to, I guess. I know I'm probably doing something wrong here, or Fortnite just decided I didn't need that 11 missing health. Oh well. We spend a good amount of time on top of this mountain getting to know each other as a team and scouting around for nearby players. And during this time I realize how this map really makes high ground such an overpowered position, especially in zero build mode. There is not a lot of cover, and if you take one of these power positions with a decent team, you're pretty much set until the endgame zones force you to move. This rings doubly true if you have a sniper rifle and decent aim, but without either, there's not much I can do at this point. Big Dill eventually gets bored and starts moving off towards a nearby supply drop. We hit the rift and head in, but a nearby team also wants that sweet, sweet loot. I try to carefully lob some grenades at a position a nearby enemy retreated to, but man, I cannot make this thing work for me, and I am really kicking myself for picking it up. I retreat back as Danny Phantom gets dropped, and after lobbing out some more useless grenades as a distraction, I pick up Danny and yeet him back to safety. After Danny is up, I immediately try to chug some slurp juice, only to get shot from two sides by the advancing team. Damn, they are coordinated and know what they're doing. I'm really annoyed at myself for not using the house as cover, and Emmy throws me inside, but it's only a matter of time before the synchronized kill squad wipes us all out. As I watch my teammates get gunned down in 7th place, I know I have to get it together because I made way too many mistakes and got way too distracted this match. Game 8. We decide to drop Tilted Towers, a little late if I'm being honest, making a risky drop even riskier. We drop into a contested building and grab a semi-automatic pistol. Heading upstairs, we go to open a chest before an enemy drops down onto our level. We make short work of him, but we can hear his buddy nearby. Eventually, we try to make a break for it, only to run directly into that other enemy. We manage to get some decent tags and eventually take them down as well. That's a hell of a way to start a game, but we made it work. Alright, maybe I spoke too soon. My teammates take down another enemy as I sit and watch, apparently. I don't know if it's because I don't have much experience with these weapons or what, but you can tell I was second guessing myself so bad. I just felt so out of it, and you could probably tell because even when the second team rolled up, my play was questionable. I mean, I threw bandages at the enemies. What am I doing? I reorganize my loadout into something I'm more comfortable with, which includes dropping this golden silenced pistol for another shotgun. Hopefully this can help me be somewhat useful in the next team fight. After an absurdly long time looting up this POI, we leave through the notorious river area with a blue AR, a green pump, and a green tack for our weapons, with some bunkers for utility and a slurp for healing. I'm starting to feel like my ideal loadout is 3 weapons and a healing and utility item for OG, but let me know what you use in the comments below. We eventually hear some gunshots to the south. We're about to go crash that party when our post-apocalyptic football player teammate pings that there's an enemy near him. Being the good cuddle teammates we are, we dip back and try to provide support. Alright house, get it together. I'm gonna start this fight off right. Or I'll open with a shotgun blast from too far away, then tab past my AR to follow up and offer the enemy a nice slurp juice instead. Worried that someone's gonna steal my heals, I rush in to get it and accidentally pick up a pistol. Then somehow pick up the slurp as I'm already shooting my AR, swapping it out and starting to sip in the middle of combat. My teammates clean up and I accept my title as possibly the worst Fortnite player in the history of the game. I mean, this is just straight up embarrassing. Not too much time to focus on my lackluster performance though, because another team is pressing up on us from behind. Pause. The enemies on the high ground force us to retreat back towards the ramshackle shack nearby. Before we get too comfortable though, more enemies push up on our rear. Wait, that's not what Axolotl and the football raider take down the new threat, and we once again focus on the high ground baddies. I make a supply run and grab an extra slurp for my team, which I try to drop, but instead dance to Aesop Ferg. Oh my gosh, this game. It's the thought that counts, right? Better late than never, I guess. The enemy snipers are clearly just looking for a pick to open the fight, and unfortunately, they get it. Post-apocalyptic football man goes down, and as expected, the enemy charges. I open some shots trying to buy my team time, but they have bunkers and make good use of them. I go to back Marshmallow up, and we manage to take down a rushing sock monkey, but not before my friend goes down. I try to prepare for the next enemy, but I clearly get outplayed by Catwoman. Our football player goes down again, and Axolotl dies standing in an open field, netting us yet another 7th place finish. I think what hurt most about this one is you can see that I am just so rusty and out of it and panicking that I can't capitalize on my positioning or help my team clutch up at all. Feeling down about my performance, I decided to log off for the day. But I wouldn't return to Fortnite OG the next day, or the day after that. At this point, my fire felt completely snuffed out. I had tried to play well, but even with the help of my teammates, my lack of skill was causing me to choke. Maybe I needed to put more time into the main battle royale, or try to wake up early to get in more hours in OG. Maybe I needed to practice more in training maps. But with my full-time career and all of my other responsibilities, it just seemed so hopeless. I only have so many hours I can play a week, and it's just starting to feel like I don't have enough time to really improve. I don't know. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is as far as my Fortnite OG Season 2 journey goes. I sort of just accepted that this may not be something I could do, that I might have to reach out to you guys and let you know that I had to give up on this series. I took some time away. I played some other video games and spent time with my family. Work has been crazy busy lately, but at least that offered a good distraction as well. I took time to myself when I could, listening to music that I enjoy and working out, trying to relax and find ways to let my brain recoup. I walked my dog, read a book, and drank some tea. All things that have nothing to do with Fortnite, but in some small way, it felt like everything I did was clearing my mind and allowing me to focus better. Before I knew it, I had that itch to dive back into the game. Playing Lawless first, and while I enjoyed the new season and what it had to offer, in the back of my mind I knew I had unfinished business. There was something deep down, a small little ember that still remained, a feeling that wouldn't let me just stop here and give up. I looked at the footage from my last few OG games and the footage I'd recorded since Lawless dropped. If I could just find a way to translate what I did in the main mode over to OG, I knew that I could play better. I knew that I would have a better chance of contributing to my team and possibly even winning. I knew what I needed to do to fulfill my destiny with this challenge. And with a deep breath and some determination, I logged back in, put on that familiar pink skin, and swapped over to the OG playlist. All right, let's do this. Well, Game 9 is off to a great start. Right off the bat, we only have 3 teammates. That is just wonderful. I don't know how we're still having an issue filling a full team of 4 in a video game in the year of our Lord 2025, but here we are, I guess. I don't want to leave my teammates in an even worse position, so I decide to resist the urge to leave and re-queue. Hopefully our terrific trio can pull off the win even though we're down a player. The boys want to drop Twisted, so I guess we're dropping Twisted. I try to push out any doubts in my mind as we freefall and focus up. I need to change my approach. Be decisive. Be confident. And if I make mistakes, I need to be okay with that and move past them, not letting them affect my gameplay. From this point forward, this is a new, fresh start. This is just the beginning of my story. I managed to get a few weapons and a shield off drop. This should help me get a leg up on anyone I come across in the early match, if I can play it right. I spot another Catwoman running nearby and drop down behind her, landing this absolute juicer of a shotgun blast. I rushed to follow up, getting right peeked in the process, but I managed to tank the damage thanks to my shields and knock her down. Even though I know this isn't the same Catwoman who killed me in the last game, I take this as a sign that things are changing from this point forward. This is a new beginning. This, my friends, is where I rise. I link up with Little Creep in time to take down another player, and I score a chug jug from the enemy we killed. Creep gets knocked, but Collateral is there to finish up the enemy, and we both start reviving. Even though we're down a teammate, we are working together well, and we are trying to stick together, which is great. As long as we don't lose somebody else, I think we're going to be in a pretty good position to perform well this game. I use a shield potion and let Little Creep take the chug jug so he can recover his shields as well. After some looting, another enemy walks into Tilted, so we take him down and begin to move out towards the west. I find a blue AR at a nearby building, and we use a rift to rotate over Loot Lake further into zone. We ride a zipline up with our buddies to high ground, and after scouting the area for a bit, we see some enemies in the distance. Might as well take some time and see if we can get some tags from a distance, and I surprise myself by scoring a knock. This may not feel like much to some of you mega Fortnite gamers out there, but for me, just last season, I would have never been able to land shots like this. So I'm going to take this moment to be proud of myself, okay? We eventually spot other enemies in the distance by the factory near Dusty Depot, so we descend from our lofty position to rotate that way using a nearby rift. On the way, I pick up a purple silenced pistol, which may have been a mistake, but my thinking at the time is it may have helped more than having double shotties if we get into a firefight. At least this way I'll be able to follow up a big hit with another spray weapon if my AR needs to be reloaded. Little Creep is behind enemy lines trying to flank, and as I make my way to the fight, I'm getting shot at from some enemies in the distance. I take cover near Collateral as Little Creep goes down. Bummer, man, but that's okay. We can reposition and grab his, card. So now, in a game where we started with only 3 of our possible 4 teammates, our third has left, meaning that not only do Collateral and I need to clutch up to get out of this situation we're in currently with at least 2 separate groups of enemies shooting at us, but we then need to take out teams of 4 by ourselves for the rest of the match if we even want a chance of winning. This is just wow. We push up, trying to take advantage of whatever damage Little Creep did before he bailed on us. We engage as the enemies far off to the east are still trying to shoot at us. We manage to land a few hits on a slippery enemy Cuddle Team specialist before All Might lets his minigun absolutely spray. Collateral manages to take him down, and I know that we need to watch our back, turning just in time to see my evil twin double back into the battle. I use my right peek advantage to take him down, and dip into cover to try and reload my weapons. As I do, some stray gunfire from the far-off player takes Collateral down through the chain link fence. My first instinct is to pick him up, but I know that if I was the other player that just scored a knock, I would be rushing in to try and press the remaining players. I wait, and sure enough, they emerge. After a tense exchange of gunfire, I manage to come out the victor. Holy crap. I know this may not seem like much, but believe me when I tell you that my adrenaline was at an all-time high. The combination of my teammate just leaving at the first sign of trouble and Collateral and I having to fight a battle from like 3 different fronts was just too intense. As I heal up and loot, coming down from the rush, I can't help but feel proud of myself. I wouldn't have been able to clutch up like that or make tactical decisions like that even a few games ago. So I start to get like this little sense of pride, you know? Collateral and I may have the odds stacked against us as we still have a long way to go. But even if we can't pull off the dub being down 2 players, I know that this is a game where I can be proud of my performance. All I can do from this point forward is give it my all and put trust in my teammate. I try to use a campfire or launch pad I had picked up, but I'm still doing something wrong. Hopefully we don't end up needing them this match because I just can't figure this stuff out. We move out from the factory area with a blue AR, a blue TAC, a minigun, some bunkers, and shields. This seems like a pretty balanced loadout to me in the moment, having a couple of spray weapons, a chunky shotgun, and some utility items. And I'm hoping my instincts help us do the best we can this match. I haven't really used the minigun up to this point, but based on how intimidating it was in that last fight, I figure it might be useful. We head into Dusty Depot, and as we cross one of the warehouses, Collateral gets into a gunfight. He manages to get the knock, and I wait to see if another enemy is nearby waiting to rush us. I secure his elimination and check the nearby loot. A sniper drops, and I debate taking it for a second, but my recent sniping escapades have been questionable at best, so I decide to stick with my current loadout. We check back to see where the enemy died, and sure enough, his teammates are moving in to grab his reboot card and get revenge. I try to put pressure on the enemies with the minigun, but after it is clear that this isn't going to work from range, I run back for the sniper rifle. Collateral manages to get a knock, and I wait for one of the other enemies to leave cover. Once they do, I manage to pull off a decent little shot, if I do say so myself, and get a knock as well. The last enemy is exposed, and we manage to take them down as well. Once again, we managed to defy the odds, overcome death, and beat a full team by fighting tactically. It's at this point that I realize there are less than 10 players remaining this match, which gets my heart pounding once again. Can this really be happening? After all these times I choked, all these times I swapped to the wrong weapon or missed shots or threw healing items at the enemy, has being in this underdog position with only one other teammate forced me to get it together? Can I possibly defy all odds, overcome all adversity, and get my first OG Season 2 win this game? We move out cautiously, constantly scanning our surroundings for other players. We go for a supply drop, keeping our eyes peeled. And even though I just had a bad experience, I elect to take the epic minigun instead of my shotgun. I really hope I don't come to regret this. We also pick up a chug jug that Collateral didn't want. There is another supply drop nearby, so we head that way because if we're being honest, with all the other potential teams left in this game, with more players, we need every advantage we can get. I managed to pick up a legendary AR, creating the most stacked loadout I have ever seen, before I spot the glint of a scope in the distance, and a shot rings out. We have been spotted. I throw down my bunker so that I can get out of the water that limits my movement, and try to return fire on the enemy. No luck, and I get shot by another player. Collateral is moving wide, and I line up my scope where that second player was shooting me from. And this time, I connect. As I look back to where the first enemy was again, my heart breaks as I get downed from one shot from nearly full health. I ping the enemy so that Collateral knows that we have company, and I try to move towards him. An enemy on the nearby cliff is trying to finish me off, but thankfully the lake is obscuring my position. My heart is racing. I try to make my way to the second bunker my teammate threw down, and as I do, the player on the cliffs tries to push. I watch, in a combination of horror and awe, as Collateral battles with this enemy, eventually scoring the knock. But the far-off enemy that sniped at me isn't so far off anymore. I swing out of cover so I can at least try to be useful by pinging the position of the threat for my teammate. Collateral calmly reloads like the cold-blooded badass he is. And before I can even really tell what is happening, the enemy tries to advance and gets silenced with one swift, close-range sniper shot. I crawl into cover, and after I'm revived, I realize that I can now, for some reason, drop the campfire. I still don't get the logic for how this item works, but I drop it so I can slowly start healing as I use my chug jug. Not a moment too soon either, as the storm has closed in on our position. It's just us and one other player left at this point. And to be completely honest with you guys, I am spent. I am losing it. My nerves are shot. I have pulled off more in this one match than I ever thought I could, and before I even know it, we crest a hill and that last remaining player takes shots at Collateral. But he must not have known that you don't take shots at the king if you're gonna miss. Against all odds, and admittedly with the help of the best teammate I have had since playing this game, we were able to pull off the win. And while I didn't get the last kill, I am still extremely proud of how I played this game. We did it. So, that's it. We're done. The prophecy has been fulfilled. I claimed my dragon-hearted Brella and savored the sweet, sweet taste of victory. When I think back to where I started when I first picked up this game last season, I can't help but feel some small sense of pride. I am not the best, and I don't think I ever will be, but I have done a lot to grow and improve my game sense. Every day, I lose a little bit of that panic that filled my heart when I got into a gunfight. Each confrontation, my aim gets steadier under pressure. With each repetition, my knowledge improves. With each drop, my strength increases. I have overcome the odds and will continue my journey towards becoming the warrior I was meant to be. No longer shall I be a terrified newbie,
hiding in the corner of a house. This journey has hardened me, pressed out my weaknesses, and covered my resolve in steel. I am no longer a cuddly teen boy. No, I am something more now. Something different. Something powerful. A conqueror. Fortnite OG Season 2 has brought out the true hunger that only endless battle can hope to satiate. This blood sport will continue on. And thinking back over all the past wars I've waged, all of the struggles I've overcome, all of the hours I've put in so far, I look upon my kingdom from my gilded throne and declare my final verdict.
It's pretty alright. I mean, honestly, I think that a big part of Season 2 was the nostalgia, and as a new player, I just don't have that aspect. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed my time and doing iconic things like dropping into Tilted Towers and using some of the items in the OG loot pool was great. But now that I've completed this challenge, I don't really see myself going back to play OG nearly as much as I thought I would when this season first came out. I think that for what it is, OG Season 2 was a great step forward, and I definitely had more fun with it than I did OG Season 1. But I don't think that it can really hold my attention in the long run. The current live game with Chapter 6 Season 2 has so much more to offer me personally, and I feel like I just want to be able to fully immerse myself in that for right now. It's fun to do the over-the-top monologue stuff, and sometimes I really do feel like I'm riding that high, but in reality I know I'm still not the best at the game. And you know what? That's okay. I'm just trying to have fun being competitive, and that's what's most important to me. I am really enjoying my time with Fortnite. I'm still having a great time with my OG journey, and I will definitely check out OG Season 3 when that launches. I'm excited to see what that season has to offer me, so be sure to subscribe if you have not already so you can see my thoughts when that drops. While you're down there, please consider leaving a like on this video if you liked it, and if you made it this far, let me know your favorite drop spot in OG Season 2 in the comments below. This video took a lot of work to put together, so helping me battle the algorithm by leaving a like and a comment would be really appreciated. Thanks so much for that. But with all that said, I'm off to continue practicing my Fortnite fundamentals. And as always, make sure to eat well, stay hydrated, take care of yourself and those around you. And I'll see you in the next one, friends.